Welcome to the Hey Idiots podcast. I'm Jessica Michelle Singleton. I'm a stand-up comedian and the chief executive idiot over here. When I'm not rambling directly to you, I'm asking all your prying and sometimes ignorant questions to my guests, who are often experts, sometimes fellow comedian friends, and occasionally absolutely batshit insane people who have somehow tricked me into thinking they're knowledgeable about a topic. This podcast is 50% curiosity, 50% insanity, and 100% hilarious. If you like unfiltered rants, prying conversations about a variety of topics, and enjoy a lot of laughter with your learning, you're in the right place. Welcome home, idiots.
A Mike Afro and a Mike Condom.
Yeah.
Mike Condom is my porn director name.
I just had the same thought of, my condom. Siri, can you just start a timer for 15 minutes, please? We're rolling.
15 minutes, starting now.
Listen.
Do I look at you or do I look at the camera?
You can do both. I'm trying, if you feel like you're really speaking to the crowd, you can look at me, though. I mean, it's fine. I constantly stare at the person here, and so all the clips are just my profile, which I have a pretty terrible profile. I just have, I kind of have, one of the inbred chins where it's barely there. So I have, a cartoonish,
Have you heard of mewing?
What's mewing?
You know...
Well, Sandy Danto's here, by the way. One of the funniest comedians on the fucking planet.
Thank you.
Oh, but I need to know about mewing.
Tell Mr. Showbiz that.
Yeah, hello, Hollywood?
No, I don't want to start off negative. I mean,
I do.
I'm indie. I'm super underground.
He's an indie darling. He's super underground. He has practiced burying himself 6 feet in the earth.
You know...
Rehearsing for death.
Biology, you're talking about your profile. Biology, it's not society that's misogynist. It's biology. Because men, when they have a bad profile, we can just grow a beard. It's you guys have makeup, we have facial hair.
Yeah, no, beards are contouring
but
for men.
But you can't contour a double, a no chin.
I'm
not saying that's what you have.
No, but I have tried. I've tried to do you put bronzer down here. It's supposed to create a shadow, but then it just looks like I've drawn on a beard.
Look, I've seen that before, and I'm just they totally, not on you, but
You're
I've seen other makeup follies. Which
follies.
Would be a great VHS tape.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Some of the best makeup follies from your favorite TV shows.
Yeah, can we just start doing those old VH1? Straight to camera.
Cassette tapes came back in style in certain pockets of culture. Did you know that? They have, yes. There are some concerts that I go to at the merch table. They're selling cassette tapes.
Is this
Why haven't VHS tapes done the same?
Is this Gen Z's version of records that they're going to be I have a cassette collection?
I think so.
I don't even know where you get a player for those. Do you?
I have 3 that I've saved because I'm a hoarder, according to my mother-in-law. But
well, I don't want to take her side, but you have 3 cassette tape players?
They're Walkman.
Oh.
So they're still technically functional. I just got to stick in a wired headphone.
Do you own any wired headphones? Okay. I
got a bag. I got a bag. I don't think I'm alone here, but I'm sure there are people who are revolted. It's just all different wires and cords.
The loose bag of cords that... by the way, I think I may have gotten rid of those finally, mine, on my last move. But yeah, I think I had them for upwards of 20 years. I don't know that I ever once went into the bag for a cord.
Well, then you and I have different experiences.
Yeah, I just kept buying new cords.
I threw mine out a couple moves ago, or maybe it was probably 4 moves ago.
Okay.
And then as soon as that happened, I needed a couple of those cords.
That's what always happens. You don't need anything until it's gone.
Right. And then, so the trauma of that has forced me to not get rid of my bag of cords that I have not used since I moved 4 years ago.
Yeah, there's cords where it can't even, there's nothing it plugs into anymore.
But there are cords that I have things for that I don't have the proper cord of. And I don't know how to look up the name of
because you don't know what it's called.
Right.
Then you're going camera, chargy cord.
You can't reverse Google image search it.
You can't?
I mean, it looks like a socket.
I wouldn't know how to...
It just offers you adapters and you're just playing roulette with, should I buy this? Is it returnable? I don't know. somebody that once owned a RadioShack is still trying to empty off their
Their
inventory.
leftover. Oh my god, RadioShack.
RadioShack you could go to with anything that needed a cord, and they'd be like, "Yeah, we got you." But that doesn't exist anymore.
How have we got?
So now I'm RadioShack, with my bag of cords.
Radio Sandy. You just have a loose bag of cords. Honestly, this is a business. Entrepreneurial. Start renting out the cords.
And I think we got you an ad buy for RadioShack.
Yeah.
They were bought by private equity, and they're just, they've teamed up. They're doing a collab with Red Lobster. Cheddar Bay adapters.
Radio Lobster.
Yeah.
RadioShack. Our youth has just been shut down. I mean, all of the golden things from my childhood have gone out of business.
Same, except Chuck E. Cheese is still around. It was called Showbiz Pizza when I was very young.
What?
But I think we need to be careful that we don't get all baby boomer about it.
Oh, yeah. In my day, you guys don't know what it was like down at the sock hop.
I had a dream. I don't know what it was, but I woke up to a notes app note that I had woken up and written down, and I probably thought it was profound in my sleep, but it just said, "Barcades are our generation's 50s diners." Did you ever have 50s diners?
Oh, that were like, that was the theme? I mean, kind of Mel's is kind of that, isn't it?
Yeah, Mel's is that, for sure.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with those.
Yeah, they don't, other than Mel's, they don't really, I haven't.
Yeah, and also, what makes it a 50s diner? It's just their stupid hats?
They have little jukeboxes on the table.
That's true.
They, sometimes the waiters or waitresses are dressed of the era.
Yeah.
They have outdated
Racism.
menu items. Yes. Racism. There are no people of
only
color
white people
in the dining room area. They're only in the kitchen.
They're in the back. Yeah, no, malts. I don't even know what a malt is.
An egg cream.
I think I just watched Back to the Future and thought that was so cool, and have forever been
it was funded by Big 50s Diner.
Big 50s Diner. Big Mel. We got to get a diner in there. That's who funded the whole movie. They had to write in the plot of Mayor Goldie Wilson, just because one of their exec producers owned a diner.
Yeah, I miss the magic of movie making on film, where it was just funded by simple diners instead of, I don't know how film gets made. Do you Saudi Arabian people fund it? Probably?
I think so.
That's why they've tightened up the purse strings. Oh
yeah, they're getting real tight on what they're making. I truly have no clue how any of that works. I should. The way Nate has gone on and on about it at times because he's so fascinated by that side of the industry. But
I'm not, because I don't like asking.
I
don't like asking people.
You can lift it too.
For money.
No, I wish.
Which is unfortunate because I'm on OnlyFans and that's kind of what you have to do. But is it supposed to be funny? I don't know.
You just start crying. That's your OnlyFans?
Yesterday,
for $5 you can see this video of me crying.
Well, I should do crying content. That would be good.
Are you on there for real?
Yeah.
Did you do one of the tapings?
Those tapings, yeah.
What is the?
By the way, I'm trying to raise money on there because it's my wife's. She got a big birthday coming up, and it's our 10-year wedding anniversary, and I wanted do the antiquated, even though she's the breadwinner, the thing where I was like, I'll take you on a trip for these wonderful milestones in our life, but I'm poor. And so I'm trying to get money on OnlyFans.
Ass photos for a trip to Fresno.
Yeah, right. There's this really nice resort in Fresno. There's an ad read for the Fresno resort. It's a Courtyard.
Courtyard by Marriott.
Not even by Marriott dropped this.
Yeah, Courtyard by Bob, who lives in Fresno. It's just someone's courtyard.
Patent pending. So to promote doing that, me and Jade got tattoos, but I got a stencil of a tramp stamp with the OnlyFans logo, and people thought it was real. But I'm putting this out there. If I can get $1,000 by April 15th, is that tax day?
Yeah.
If I could get $1,000 on there by April 15th, I will actually get that.
$1,000? Okay, what's your OnlyFans? Is there
it's
like a URL?
OnlyFans.com/Sandy Danto.
I'm putting it in the show notes. You guys, everyone just go. I mean, come on. Go to OnlyFans. Give Sandy a couple bucks.
Honestly, if you want to tip me but you feel like you need something out of it, just ask me for a video or something, a message. I'll do a cameo for a loved one or a hated one, depending on how you feel about me.
He'll roast your dying grandma.
I'm not much of a roast guy, but if it's a dying if it's somebody on their deathbed, yeah, I'll
burn them down.
I'll fucking torch them.
Listen, Carol.
Who needs to pay for cremation? Because I'm gonna roast them.
I am barely on Cameo. I technically have one, but I jacked up my price to a rate that I'm like, I know that
What
surely
is it?
I don't know, but I'm like, it's in the several hundreds, and it's not because I think anyone will pay that. It's because I think they won't.
Right, I get it.
Because the only things I would get would be people being like, roast my friend, and I'm like, no.
Mine's $11, and I get them every now and again, and people tip me. But whenever I'm asked to roast something, it's just that's not. You know what? I'm here to bring my brother-in-law is like he's my wife's older brother, and he's a ball buster, and I love him. It's so fun. I've been friends with him since high school. I went to high school with my wife.
Oh, I love that about you guys.
And I'm just not I'm not like even though I'm an oldest brother, I'm not like if I want to be mean, I'm going to be mean without being funny.
Yeah, but you're like, I'm going to hurt you.
Yeah, I'm like, I want you to feel this.
Yeah, I don't want you to think I'm kidding.
Right.
I need you to know I'm fucking pissed.
I have a difficult time compartmentalizing the insult with the, showing love. Maybe it's because of stuff from growing up. I'm still on my therapy journey, but I've learned that you shouldn't ask people, how you doing? How you been? Because yesterday I was at an audition at 200 South LaBrea, you know the place.
Oh, I sometimes walk there from here.
Yeah, oh, nice.
Good, and regret it every time.
Well,
it's only the hottest day of the year anytime I have an audition. I go, I'll get some steps, and then I get there and I'm like, Hard Rock Casino.
What a place to get called in for a...
It's like so a lot of people listening aren't in the industry, but so it's a building for commercial auditions. So there's 8 different offices. It's like a cattle call for different commercials.
Like if you've ever been to a doctor's office where there's several different doctors' offices on one floor, that's what this is. But it's all for people to feel humiliated and a profound sense of anxiety and failure. And
just deep, deep shame.
Although I booked a couple things from there.
Oh, look at you.
But they didn't pay well enough to compensate for all the shame and loss I've felt over the years. One time they held me there for 2 hours. Thank you.
It's a terrible setup. It's not you.
Could you put it in my mouth?
Yeah, just suck on it if you could.
I'll just do...
move it if it's a little uncomfortable. You can move it up and down.
Is this okay? Should I put the headphones on? They held me there for 2 hours, and I missed something else I had to do. Because it was a callback, and they're like, we're deciding today, and then I didn't get it. But Sandro did.
That makes so much... Cut to the picture of Sandro. Do you see him a lot at auditions?
Yeah, I used to, but now most of them are to tape.
Oh, yeah, self-tapes.
But I went there yesterday, and I ran into somebody I haven't seen. I ran into a few people I haven't seen in years, but I ran into a friend, and I was like, hey, how you doing? And I could see, that, when they ask you to, in an audition, be disappointed, but make it big.
Oh, no.
And she kind of, had, a content, I got my head in the game for this. I got to get into a good mood for that. But then, you could see the mood that she was hiding underneath
just
it.
crumbling.
When I asked her how she was doing, she's like, me and my fiance broke up. And I was like, I'm so sorry for asking. That's on me. I should not ask that question to people. And she laughed at that, which could have been like made her feel worse than she was already feeling. But yeah, I mean, who has the audacity to be like, I'm good, and it be sincere?
No,
in these trying times.
In this day and age, yeah. And the amount of times lately that someone's been like, how you doing? And I go, I'm good. And then I go,
Well, yeah, you have to answer that way. Because
also,
when you catch somebody who's actually like, I can't hold back, you're like, ooh, I shouldn't have asked.
Oh yeah, because you're like, I don't want to actually know. There used to be this guy.
I do, because I like to listen. But
I do, but I don't want you to unload it. I don't know.
It depends, because some people are just negative without any self-awareness. And other people are like, hey, this is what's going on. I'm being honest. But, things are otherwise, good. And or they deflect or they...
Yeah, it's when like someone like the full dump and you're like,
yeah.
This is a, we gotta like plan a coffee conversation. This isn't
right.
I'm catching you in passing. But also, again, it's
but
like
those people are
sorry.
never people you would have coffee with.
No, because it's always going to be that.
They don't have coffee with anyone. That's why they're taking the opportunity to unload on you.
Because nobody has asked them for coffee.
Nor has anyone asked how they're doing.
Yeah, maybe if you had a little coffee, you'd feel better. You fucking lump of coal.
That's not this person I saw yesterday. But, typically, if we're just talking in stereotypes,
I mean...
which is... usually 100% accurate.
I mean, yeah, the how are you doing? And I've been on the other side of that where you're like, just barely holding it together.
Oh, I've been on the other side of it. That's how I learned that no matter how you're doing, you just say good and keep it moving. Yeah,
because you ever just been like so close to crumbling when someone asks you that? Like, how you doing? And you're like, I'm okay.
I have crumbled when people ask me. Many a time.
I stay crumbling, dude.
I'm like one of those cliffs that has a sign no jumping. Just constantly eroding, but like somehow keeping it together enough to have a sign up that's like, beware.
Yeah. Could crumble at a moment's notice.
Yes. You shouldn't even be standing close enough to the sign to be able to read it. Without binoculars.
This is dangerous. Falling rocks. Falling rocks. I deeply relate to that. That's a podcast.
Yeah, I was just going to say. It's
the Crumble. And it's
Yeah.
sponsored by Crumble Cookies.
Ooh.
People are eating their feelings as they're talking.
Yes.
A lot of listeners hate it because they're like, my wife is leaving me. My God. Well,
I put a glory hole in this giant cookie.
Wait, I want to ask you about OnlyFans. I never started the timer. We're going to take a quick break because I'm a fucking idiot. And we're about at 15.
Not. We all make mistakes. You got to give yourself a little bit of grace. You started it. Siri is the one who's a fucking idiot. We'll discuss more after this. Illusion of professionalism.
Yeah, and what a I'm really the wizard at the end of Wizard of Oz when it comes to the illusion of professional. The curtain has been drawn, everyone sees me, and it's like, we're running a tight ship over here.
Well, if that's who you identify most in the Wizard of Oz, I'm the Cowardly Lion, who I actually played in my 8th grade production of the Wizard of Oz.
Can I tell you, you are not the first person in the last month to have played the Cowardly Lion that I've had on this podcast.
Who else?
And this has come up. This is the 3rd time on a podcast this has come up.
Shut up.
I swear to God. Leah Bonema. You know Leah?
I know.
She's a comic.
Yes,
She just moved here from New York. Very funny. Very big curly hair. And I don't know how much that played into it. But the listeners are probably like, she's forcing people to bring up the Wizard of Oz so she can keep retelling her trauma.
You're just trying to get an ad buy from Wicked 2.
Come on, please. The listeners already know this and they're sick of it, but
We're holding space for you.
I was the king of the flying monkeys. Anyways, we move on.
Wait, who else was the lion other than her?
Oh, no, I said this is the 3rd time it's come up, Wizard of Oz, but she was the only other lion.
Got it.
And then Noah Kopfer was on, and he went to theater school out here? like an acting school. So just the conversation of theater.
Wizard of Oz is an amazing movie. It's still
so good.
still relevant. It's not for a movie made when
I
it
love
was made.
still relevant
It's not.
as it's like culturally. Like, wait, is there like an underlying thing that I don't understand?
Well, it actually is about, if I remember correctly, it's a allegory for populism.
Oh, populism,
which is
so
what we're living in right now,
which
like
is very
a
appropriate.
very subverted version of it. But
yeah. Wait, and populism is the one. Explain populism.
I didn't say I knew what it meant.
It's like nationalism versus populism. They're kind of similar, right?
Populism is like if I remember correctly,
if only
the
I had a
movement
device.
of the downtrodden and average folk, the not playing to like
the elite
or the people
the common
who
people
are like middle class and above.
The range of political stances that emphasize the idea of common people and often position this group in opposition to the perceived elite.
Yes.
Anti-establishment.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
yeah. I knew what it was, but I didn't know how to
articulate
it.
My daughter is at an age where she asks me what words mean, and I've known what these words have meant for a very long time. But ask me to define them articulately in a way that a 6-year-old can understand, I'm just scrambling. Like, she'll be like, "What does I can't even think of
what's the establishment?"
what does truthfully mean? And I'm just like, it means like to tell the truth. And she's like,
"What's the truth?"
She's like, "Well, what does truth mean?" I'm like, "What's real?
What's real and right and honest and
what's honest when you don't lie?
What's a lie?" It's the
like
thing I've been telling myself for the last 20 years. I'm just kidding.
It's what's kept me in Hollywood for 20 years. It's hard to improvise definitions to words that you know without using the word itself or the antonym of the word.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, if you have no concept of this word, all of these things are going to mean nothing to you.
Right.
But I don't know if this is an age thing or just LA has chipped away at so much of me that I just doubt everything I do now. But I will sometimes Google the definition of words I absolutely know, but I go, is that the right word? And I
do too. I think
almost 100% of the time I'm like, yeah, that's the right word.
Yeah, I think that being in the entertainment industry for as long as we have, I think I've weathered the questioning myself thing. I think that it's very human to need reminders and get reinforcement on things. The amount of information that we're given or that we passively or actively every day is way more than the human brain, no matter how smart, was meant to process in a lifetime. Our grandparents wouldn't get as much information in one day that we get in one day in their entire adult lives.
No, it's like
even if they read like a book a year.
Yeah,
which is a lot.
You could read the newspaper every day and you wouldn't receive. That's maybe a tenth, and that's someone who's not consuming a lot of information.
So you got to give yourself grace on that. I'm past the point where I'm doubting myself, and now I just doubt anything anyone tells me.
Oh yeah, I need to get there because I do not a dumb thing.
That also is a bad place to be because then you can't like get any ground on anything. But it also keeps you safe. Yeah,
you're not going to be swindled by anyone.
No. You're not going to get your hopes up.
I've been trying to, you know what? It's probably a bad idea in the long run, but I've been trying to be more hopeful with things. I've been trying to get back to.
This podcast is supposed to be positive, right?
You know, it is whatever it is, you know? No, I mean, I think there was a long time with career stuff, auditions, submissions, writing packets, or just wanting to get work at a club where I'll submit, but I'll go, you know, it's better if I just submit, forget about it, assume it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I think that's...
And that's been my thing for a long time. lately I've been trying to go, what if I let myself just think, what if I book this commercial?
Yeah.
What if I do the thing where I go, I think that was a good audition. I think I might have it. I'm trying to do that, and I'm like, is this a recipe for just more hurt?
I think the best thing to do is to be like, that was good. They should hire me, and they'll be foolish not to. Or if you know that you're like, oh man, I could have done that better, and I'll remember that for next time. But man, I just learned about following up like a few weeks ago. So I think that
Sandy!
There are all these people that I was resentful towards, or that I'm like, why didn't I ever hear about that? It's like, oh, people forget, and you gotta like remind them.
And it's not personal, but it feels so personal.
So I've got a whole lot of erasing to do on my list.
Your murder list, that Steve Buscemi and fucking Billy Madison.
Excuse me while I put on some lipstick and go to sleep.
Wait, we have to talk about this off the air. I can't believe the following up. It's hard.
No, it was like a few years ago.
No, but I was the same way, where it's just like, I used to take I also just had the lack of awareness I had about how many emails anyone running anything must possibly be getting.
I can't even handle the amount of texts and emails that I get, and it's very few.
Oh, yeah. I don't get enough of any of those things for the amount of times I go, I should change my phone number. I should not tell anyone my phone number. I'll get one text message and be like, I've got to end it.
I have a problem. I can relate to that, but I also, any group text, completely overwhelming to me. And also I'll like see a text if I'm driving or cooking or
being alive,
engaging with my children, and I'm like, oh, I gotta return that, and then
if it's open, I have been starting, on iPhones now, you can now mark things as unread.
Right, but here, that's a slippery slope.
Oh no, I'm so scared of what you're gonna. I'm like cringing at what
I love
think
is
you're
that
gonna show me.
The mail app made it so it's like it only counts the non, like listserv emails as real unread emails.
It did?
Yeah, like it separated it into
those three
transactions, updates, and promotions. And so now the only ones that count as unread are. Can
you turn the mic a little more toward your mouth?
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
The real ones, because before I had like 10,000 unread emails, and now I'm down to 308.
I'm trying to go through my inbox.
But look at my texts.
Does that say 759 text messages?
Unread, yeah. Because I do the thing where I mark them unread, and I'm like, this is how I'll get back to it later, and then I get so distracted with everything else.
I have this compulsive thing where I need to respond immediately. It's like I feel like I have to, and then I get resentful towards anyone messaging me.
I have the opposite where I'm like, I either don't know the answer right now, or I can't think of something funny to respond. And so I'm I'll wait until funny. It doesn't always have to be funny.
I was like, Sandy, you don't have to be funny.
For group, that's what the group thing is. And so then I just end up never responding. Or if you do type something that you think is funny and nobody responds to it, that is as profound a feeling of bombing as it is.
And now it's like permanent in writing, and every time you open your phone, you see it.
And then like a day later, the subject changes, and it's like, oh, finally the fart from the room cleared.
we just moved on. No one's going to acknowledge that. Have you seen Ryan O'Flanagan has a really funny video where he made like a music video, and he's got like heavy eyeliner, and he's like, I bombed in the group chat.
No, I haven't. That's amazing.
But I'm like, that's what it feels like, that you're like, oof.
I think I have trauma, and so I just don't
engage.
Even open them
anymore. I mean, I'm trying to figure out ways to like, yeah.
That's why I love GIFs and emojis, because that's pretty much, if I'm in a group chat with you, that's all I'll put in there.
You're the GIF guy.
I mean,
there's always like someone who it's like, it's only GIFs. You know what's crazy is I both hate group chats and am the kind of person in a group chat that is the reason people hate them. Because once the conversation starts going, I'm getting in there. Most of the time. I'm making it
I
worse.
can relate to that because that's another one of my group chat flaws is that I'll like, it'll go, and then I'll have some time to digest it, and then I write like a really long thing, and then that also, not trying to be funny, just responding to it all, and then that also does not get.
They're like, whoa.
It either like
paragraph
doesn't get acknowledged and the conversation goes on, or it's again like brought everything to a screeching halt, and then whenever it picks up again, it's not acknowledged, and I'm like, am I a social pariah? Like, I think I'm just one of those people that.
Am I a social pariah?
That I'm an in-person guy. I'm not like a over the phone. I like talking on the phone. Great.
Yeah.
I don't like FaceTiming, but I can.
At least you can read expressions.
My
and
vibe can come across, but text. I'm not a text.
No,
person.
and I feel like I feel, and maybe you're the same way. I just sort of have like an energy in real life that I can't convey in a text message. Nor am I going to, other than, I don't want to send 800 emojis at the end of my thing.
Oh,
but then I feel like if I don't add emojis, I feel like my texts make people go, are you mad at me? And I go, no, it's not in person, so I'm not singing.
Right. I think that I misinterpret emojis, like when people put them at the end of a sentence. It mixes whatever signal they're trying to send. For me, I don't know.
Well, sometimes I think people also use the wrong emojis. My mom once texted me about someone dying and used the crying, laughing emoji.
Yes.
She's like, it's just so sad that he died so young. And then it was a laughing, crying, and I was like, Mom, please don't send this to anyone else.
Yesterday, my wife was texting with her mom something sentimental about her dad who died a few years ago.
Oh.
And it was and then she used the, like, welling up with the smile emoji. And
Instead of the welling up without the smile.
No, like welling up
with
the
like
smile,
fond,
like it was
like
something,
memory.
yes.
Okay.
And her mom's like, don't make fun of Dad. And she's like,
It's like you try to add more context, and then people take it even further out of context.
Right.
Like, oh, you think that's funny? And it's like, no. And then there's emojis that I've had people I've dated in the past used a specific emoji a lot. So now if anyone else uses it, I'm like, I fucking hate you.
It's
upside down smiley.
Conditionally traumatizing.
You're cheating on me as a friend.
I can relate to that because I'm going through a friend breakup.
Friend breakup.
The friend used a certain emoji at the end of sentences that I didn't know how to interpret.
Definitions, remember?
And so now, anytime I see it, I'm just like, I
You're just
tremble.
sad?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I wet the bed a little.
Get out of bed.
You know what? A lot of people, they pee, they get out of bed. I gotta pee. I jump. Whatever bed I can find.
It's just nice to feel warm.
Yeah.
Wait, let's take a quick break because this alarm's about to. Oh my god, I've never had that time perfectly. Oh my god, I want to take a break and then talk about friend breakups because I think we all go through them and they're hard and we don't give that enough credit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Able to cry on command. You do not belong
in entertainment. You're not going to make it. And that's a fact. I wish I could cry less. They didn't even ask for I thought maybe if I cried, that would be something different, a different way to take it. And they're like, yeah, this is an Arby's commercial. I have the means.
I'm trying to make au jus with my tears.
Beef and cheddar.
Such an obnoxious crier. It's very loud.
Oh, do you like
I
sob?
Yeah.
Anytime.
Even when I'm doing it alone. I'm annoying myself, and that's what snaps me out of it. Thinking about how ridiculous I must sound to anyone who may be within like 30 meters of me.
Oh, especially in an apartment, I'll have moments of clarity
Canada for some reason.
Yeah, you're like, or in a hotel, you're like, oh, the people next door.
Yeah.
This is way less fun than hearing someone fuck.
Let me ask you something. Is there something about being on a plane that makes you cry?
More emotional? Or is
Yeah.
every movie on a plane the saddest movie on earth? I have a bad habit of, I think, accidentally picking the saddest movie. It's my fault. I'll go, well, everyone's talking about this movie. It's usually an Oscar-nominated movie. I should know better. At this point, I should go, it's probably sad.
I can't watch serious movies on planes. I have to watch like a comfort movie that I have no problem if I fall asleep. And then even if it is a movie that I've been meaning to watch, I'll end up just listening to it and looking at the screen of the person in front of me.
Yeah, that's probably a better move. I watched Manchester by the Sea on an international flight. Have you seen that?
I have seen that.
And I was next to a family.
No.
I thought, for some reason, Manchester by the Sea, it's probably some sort of beautiful, sweet tale of, I don't know, I just thought it would be pretty. I was like, it's by the sea, it can't be. Surely nothing sad could happen near the sea. Audible sobbing, just boogers. I'm like, can I have some napkins?
It's honestly cry porn. It's like the kind of movie you put on
because you need to get it out.
Have you ever seen the documentary Dear Zachary?
No.
It's by far the most morbidly sad piece of anything that's ever been made. And if you want a good cry, watch Dear Zachary.
Okay.
I watched it with my wife to the point where she's like, I'm sad, I'm crying too, but you have to.
Could you be quiet?
Cry more quietly because I can't hear how the new sad stuff.
I can't get more of it, and you're going.
Yeah, I'm like. This is what I'm not exaggerating. This is what. That's what I sound like when I'm really crying. To the point where if I'm acting, and crying is required,
people go, "This is too over the top."
I can't do my authentic cry because it seems too over the top.
Yeah, I think it's good, though, to get in a good sob every once in a while.
I've learned to not have the, little, pre-cum cries where it, doesn't last that long. And I just sort of...
You think that's why you sob? Because it's, built up?
Just to have this sobs. But I used to just
It's like a big load.
Yeah.
You, don't jerk off for a week.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, that orgasm
I can't stop crying! Spraying out of your face.
It's like it's spurting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a squirter when it comes to tears.
I'm squirting out of my balls. But
that's the kind of content you'll find of me on OnlyFans.
OnlyFans. Wait, I want to talk about the OnlyFans thing for a minute because a lot of people are doing these OnlyFans LMAOF
Yeah.
tapings.
You
I've
should
seen
do it.
them.
It's great.
I'm thinking about it. I'm looking at it.
I will say this. The female comics that do them do very well on the platform. But when I've asked, what I can do to improve my income on there,
Joking.
the answer is
jerk off for a minute.
Well, I have been asked if I'm gay on there, and my response is always no. But what will you pay me to do?
Yeah.
And then they stop responding, which is annoying because just let me know what's on the table, and I'll let you know if I'm willing to do it.
You should just not say no and just go, what are you thinking?
Oh, that's a good idea.
They don't need to hear you say no.
But all the female comics that I've spoken to about it, they're just like, I'm killing it and making a ton of money, but I'm posting pictures of my butt or my feet.
That's what I got good. That's what I'm thinking, the feet. My friend the other day said she's like, I've released a couple, I would say, racy butt pics, and those do pretty well. Because don't you have to, what I didn't understand, I saw a bunch of these coming out, but then you're sort of obviously you have an OnlyFans account, but then you're kind of expected to put up some type of content.
They incentivize you to put up content.
Like there's
the
bonuses
contract
and stuff.
is if you put up a certain amount, you have to put up a certain amount of content that's consistent for over 6 months, and then you get a bonus. And then if you make enough money from people purchasing your content or tipping you, then you get another bonus. So that's what I'm trying to invoke by raising the money to get the bonus. And if I raise that money, I'll get the OnlyFans tramp stamp. But I've tried putting, I got a pedicure and I filmed the whole thing, and I cut it up in clips where I'm doing ASMR dirty talk, but there's jokes, you know?
That's so funny.
And I'm like, all right, this scratches a couple of itches. And it has not.
And people are like, this isn't funny.
Yeah.
Don't try
this
to
isn't funny. And
don't
trying
laugh
to be
at
funny is making me less horny for feet.
Yeah, you know what you should do is just, you should get, either use your phone or a camera, do a video podcast, but have it be about whatever, but just be like shirtless and in like different Speedos.
Okay.
Get that bear audience.
I feel like I'm not quite a bear, not quite an otter.
I'm not a bear, not quite an otter. I mean,
yet an otter.
I don't know what the criteria is. You're somewhere in the middle, you think?
Yeah, there's...
You're an ally. And that's what matters.
I am an ally.
A very hairy ally.
You know, you think that I'm hairy, but let me just show you this. No leg hair.
Wait, what's your chest hair situation?
No arm hair.
I cannot believe you're not hairy.
That's why I just started getting tattoos this year, and it's like, what? How am I going to not get tattoos? I have no hair on my arms. I've been given this gift of a blank canvas. I have to get tattoos, and it's my midlife crisis, and Kevin Christie the other day saw me. He's like, you've gotten a lot of tattoos since I saw you last. Are you going through something? And I'm like, yeah, obviously.
A love of tattoos.
But my chest hair situation, it is...
Take it in, OnlyFans, more of
that. A
that.
little hairy. You're going to blur out my nipples, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like hairy, but it's not like...
But you're not like, a full bear.
I'm not... It's not like a thicket.
A thicket of hair.
And the hair on my back is very few and far between.
Well, that's good. I know they say there's something for everyone. Are there people who are like really in? I'm fine with back hair, but are people like, I want to see a hairy
I have heard
shoulder
of it,
blade?
Yeah. I want it to look like they're wearing a fur t-shirt,
a fur vest, blades of fur. You just angel wings made out of hair on your back.
I mean, there are just some guys whose like beard line and chest hair blend into each other.
It's crazy.
Where it's like they shaved and it starts down at their collarbone.
It's wild. What's crazy is how many men who are completely bald up top, all the hair has migrated.
Can't they just have it transplanted from the small of their back to their
The
head?
small of their back. Imagine just only having a big tuft of hair right where the tramp stamp would be. Oh. Nothing else. It's just like a literal bush. Little back bush.
A back bush.
We love a back bush. That's your special on OnlyFans.
Yes, back bush. That's what I'm going to do to cover up the OnlyFans tramp stamp. I'm just going to have a transplant of hair onto the small of my back over the tramp stamp.
You take hair from your head. Your hair was back here.
I'm going to go to Tijuana and have it done there.
You're like, this is a real mullet.
I'm going to...
hangs over your pants.
Yeah. Oh, your mullet is party in the back of your head? Mine's the back of my back.
Party in the way
I've
back.
got a landing strip to my butthole.
It's air traffic control. This way. Oh my god. Wait, we were supposed to talk about, I want to circle back, friendship breakups.
Oh god.
Now that we've had a good laugh, let's have a good song.
You know, there's falling outs, there's disagreements, there's...
Sometimes you just need space.
Breaks, and then there's just like full-on breakups, and that's what I feel. I wish it wasn't this. I don't want it to be, but that's what it feels like, and I'm listening to 3 books right now.
3 books?
3 books simultaneously. Like, I'm like, okay, once I get 10% more...
You hear one thing you don't like, you're like, I'm going to the other book.
No, that's not it. It's just a lot to digest all at once.
Of course.
When you're listening to self-help or psychology-related books.
It can become overwhelming. Especially, I prefer listening because I can get more, I don't know, it's better for me, but then so much comes in. Right.
And also, like, comparing and contrasting with the other schools of thought helps, because sometimes you listen to or read a book or even a YouTube video or a TikTok, and it tends to become the information that you kind of set your watch to mentally.
Yeah, you just go, that's the only truth.
Right. And you're like, oh, that resonates, so it must be true. And you have to kind of
See other
explore what else is out there so you're not falling prey to, like, when you see a YouTube video or a TikTok, maybe this person has the degree that they're saying, or maybe they don't.
Person in a manic episode of the TikTok account going, let me tell you about self-realization.
We're in an age where if you can speak articulately enough about something, people just assume you know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And that's what this podcast is all about.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I'm trying to build my career. But I am listening to a book about attachment styles.
Is it called Attached?
Yes.
I gave that book to a friend, and I'm going to tell you what, I don't think she's read it. She's had it for years. I
think I know what friend you're talking about.
You're 100% right. And she is anxiously attached to that book.
So I'm listening to that, and I actually am reading it because there's parts of it.
There's like quiz parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I almost I hate that when I'm listening. I'm like, I gotta get the book.
Yeah.
But I get the book.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Well, I got them both on the Libby app. Do you have the Libby app?
I love the Libby app. I'm listening right now to a book, 101 Essays That'll Change the Way You Think. And it's so good that I bought the book because I'm like, there's so much to think about. I'm like, I want to go one by one and like really like.
I'm gonna put that in my queue.
Resonate and like journal and think about it.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
I've been journaling. I'm back to journaling. That's good. You know what has helped my journaling is realizing I can just do talk to text and then like.
That's your journal?
Read it over. Yeah.
Just picturing you walking around your home going, and also, you know, I'm still mad at my mother.
Well, it's I do it on my second poop of the day. So that
second.
It's like
you have multiple poops a day.
Yeah, I take like a week's worth of fiber supplements every afternoon because it lowers my cholesterol and it also makes it so I have multiple very satisfying poops.
I love a good big poop. It's a
where
release.
I'm just like, and it is a release, and then you look at it and you're just like, I've done something here today. You know,
I have
it's
accomplished
the little
something.
accomplishments.
Yeah, the bigger the better, but yes.
It's also, honestly, it's multifaceted why I do it, but I had really bad irritable bowel syndrome. And I think not drinking alcohol anymore and not smoking weed anymore has really helped.
You don't drink or smoke anymore? My God.
I mean, I didn't say I don't do other things, but I mean, I'll smoke weed on
I've been sniffing crack for 6 months. Sniffing crack.
I think you'd get really congested.
So rock in your nose.
Yeah, I haven't been sniffing crack, but I'll cut my cocaine with baking powder just to, just
to feel
crack
it
up.
Yeah.
Make it last a little longer.
Get a little wacky cracky.
Yeah. But like I'll have a drink from time to time, but I used to tie one on.
Yeah, that you're like, we're going out.
Yes.
I feel that. That's kind of how I am now.
But even after that, I would still get inflammation. But doing the fiber thing, it lowers my cholesterol. It got rid of my irritable bowel syndrome. And
really?
Just, like... I used to like... Speaking of watching TikToks where you're like, I don't know if I should believe this, but it affirms what I want to hear, so I'm going to. A TikTok came up the other day for me that said, if you're an adult and you shit your pants, that's okay.
No.
It's okay to shit your pants.
It's not.
And it was like a gastroenterologist.
I mean, it's not like you should kill yourself, but I guess
no,
it
you're
depends
right.
on,
it's not.
It depends on like what age you're shitting your pants to, but like it's like if you're not extremely old, you should do some investigating.
Well,
or some slowing down.
I used to at least once or twice a year have like a shark in public. And now since the fiber, it's just never happens.
Really?
I used to have a joke. It was like, if you don't shit your pants once a year, you're not really living.
And now you're like, I was dying.
That was the setup of the joke. Maybe I'll tell the joke again.
Cut to the joke.
On OnlyFans.
Yes, go to his OnlyFans. It's plugged in the show notes.
And I'm also listening to, what's the book? Oh, it's called How to Win Your Breakup.
How to win.
And it's meant to be about like a romantic breakup, but they say in the preface of the book it could apply to breaking up with your parents or a sibling or a friend or a coworker,
I
leaving
think
a job,
that,
firing somebody.
Maybe that is supposed to be like a buzzword clickbait title, but I really think the idea of winning a breakup is so fucking toxic.
I agree.
And it reinforces so many things about like things are supposed like you're not supposed to be together with everyone for the rest of your life.
Well, that's why.
And when we look at it as winning, then we have to think there's losing. That's
part of the reason why I'm listening to other books, because I thought the same thing, but once you get into the belly of the beast, it's really just about the winning of
it's
it
like for you.
Is how to learn and grow from your pain. Which brings me to the third book I'm listening to, which is a Holocaust memoir. And part is to learn how to learn and grow from your suffering, and part is to as a Jew, you gotta be prepared these days.
I mean,
you never know. You kind of do know. We're on the precipice of it.
You've been looking at leaving the country?
What country is going to be better?
No country for old Jews.
Yeah.
Well,
you're going to move to Samoa and just be like, I'm a midget here.
You can. Actually, I don't even know if this is true. This is just reinforcing your thing about if someone articulates himself well. But I saw an Instagram video that you can get Portuguese citizenship if you spend 7 days a year over there.
I'm actually of Portuguese descent, and it's been like they sought me out over it, and I just didn't have the $2,500 per person to do that, because what would be the point of I'm a father of two and I'm married? I just get a Portuguese passport.
Whatever happened to Sandy Danto? He abandoned his family and he's living in the Azores.
He eats paella a lot. He posts about it.
It's just, you in towers of seafood. Maybe, I don't know. I've seen it so much that maybe you could they bargain? You'd be like, listen, you obviously need people. You want us to come there. Give us a discount. Wait, I fucking interrupted you.
No, I was just talking about those are the 3 books I'm listening to to help me get through this friend breakup.
It's so hard, especially with friends, because, I don't know, it's a specific type of intimacy when you really become friends with someone, and to lose that, or...
this is like my childhood, one of my closest friends since I'm 15 years old.
That's so devastating.
Somebody who, because of the pandemic, we just had very little, if any, boundaries with. At my house with my wife, and my wife and I went to high school together. We didn't stay together since high school.
You refound each other. Isn't that beautiful? Keep stalking your ex from high school.
But there was a time in college.
They could come back around.
It's true.
Their significant other could die in a horrific accident, and then you swoop in there. That's not what happened.
They can't be the one who got away if you don't let them get away. Honestly, they say that imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. I think it's stalking.
Yeah, I think,
Somebody's willing to commit to you like that, you shouldn't let them get away.
That's how all of our grandparents got together, by the way.
Honestly, I don't know if this is a thing, but don't you think a way to combat stalking would to be like, engage with your stalker and be like...
Yeah, I wonder if it takes away the appeal.
I think as a stalker, and I don't know, I just listen to 3 psychology books at the same time. But the Holocaust one it's part memoir, part the guy was a psychiatrist before the Holocaust and after, and so it's a memoir, and then also his position paper on the school of psychology that he created. But I don't know if this is in the discussion of being a stalkee, but couldn't you just engage with your stalker and be like not? Because isn't like to me the idea of being a stalker is like you have this very idealized version of the person.
Yeah, you've put them on a pedestal. You're probably romanticizing the kind of person they are.
So if you're being stalked, I think a way to engage is to just be like kind of annoying.
Yeah, honestly, I think
and
like
unsexy.
I had a stalker who may or may not still be somewhere in the rafters from the internet, not like, but I do
a dormant stalker.
Yeah, he's laying low. He's
like,
on the ground outside.
I have
your
a
house.
tumor, but we're pretty sure it's benign at this point.
Yeah, but it is like, it's not even me turning it up. I'm like, I bet if I was just like, let's get away together for a weekend, by the end he'd be like, I gotta fucking get out of here.
Yeah, I think that could be a revolutionary way to deal with a stalker.
Yeah, you just open the window, lean out, and go, hey, what's going on down there?
You want to help me move? And then you just invite them in and you're sitting around.
Like, I have this pimple in the middle of my back. Can you get it for me?
Yeah. Don't worry. I'll give you gloves. I mean, obviously.
I mean, the way that...
But the last one splashed into my friend's mouth. So you might want to wear, a mouth guard.
A hazmat type of situation. Maybe just a face guard. One of those subway...
Hey, you wanted to get
windows.
my pussy. How about some pussy?
I mean, truly, the way I feel like if I didn't go on the road, or if Nate had to suddenly work from home while I wasn't on the road, I don't know. Whoever I'm with needs space from me, and that's not I think that's most people. You need space from your partner, but I can be intense. I wake up at 100 miles an hour, and I go, "Here's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna do this date, and I need to connect something with it." And he's like, "Please, it's 6 a.m.
My daughter is exactly like that. One of my daughters, but. This is going to sound obnoxious. Me and my wife's dynamic is the exact opposite. Like, we need to be together. The more we're together, the better.
Yeah.
And then...
That's great.
The pandemic was just... I'm really hoping for another one soon.
I do feel like when I look back, I'm like, I didn't do it right. I want to do over.
Same. There were things I would do differently, for sure. I was
like, why did I stay at home?
All my money into learning voiceover and getting a voiceover demo, only for it to be taken over completely by AI on the other side of the pandemic.
I did a voiceover class too.
Yeah.
Kalmanson.
I'm pretty sure it was a pyramid scheme, the one I did.
They're like, you should get other people to do
They're
voiceover.
Like, you all got agents, and then I never got an audition, but I still had to give them a percentage of what I made.
That's insane.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
but
I was like,
I
what?
do think it was a pyramid scheme, because there was like, we were being breadcrumbed, and then the demo cost a lot of money, but I don't know. Maybe.
Oh yeah, I was like, to actually learn what goes into demo, you have to do the next level, and then we'll do your demo, but you have to pay. Oh my god, wait, I think I did too.
So I don't know. Maybe, I think that's why I never did voiceover stuff before this, but then it was pandemic and free money, and so, I was like, oh, I'll do something productive, but this is a tangent that nobody cares about.
I care.
I know you do, but I'm trying to help you get ad reads.
They're not coming. Let me tell you, they're not. Can anyone let me know what you're being advertised in the automatic drops? I'm curious to see what people hear. I know it's specific probably to each person's thing. I don't know. But I am curious. Friend breakups. Okay. So.
I was just going to go back to that and ask you, because I know a mutual friend of ours, you guys had a friend breakup, but now you're friends again, right?
Oh, we did?
Well, you lived together, and then
and then I moved. Yeah, I moved out because I moved in with my partner.
Oh.
No,
okay.
we did. No, and that's 100% fair. I don't know if anyone else listening has experienced this, where it's just sort of. I couldn't tell you. As far as I know, nothing went really wrong.
You just needed space.
We needed space, but there was just a time of space, and now we've come back together. But there was it's almost weird when it's not a breakup, because you're like, yeah, I don't know, we're just not hanging out for some reason. This is actually probably something I shouldn't talk about in the air, because now I'm going, actually, no, it's like they weren't answering me, and then they did, and I just immediately let them back in, and now I'm realizing maybe that's on me.
Well, okay, I was a little unclear about the specifics of yours, but I know that you guys live together, then you...
Which can be difficult.
Weren't... Right. Like, I have a good friend that... Actually, this is crazy. Sally, my wife, should I say her name on here? Whatever.
It's fine.
She gets a stalker out of this. I don't.
That's so funny.
She dumped me in high school for a guy who ended up going to my college.
Awkward.
And we became roommates and very close friends. But we were not. We are now friends, but we had a falling out because we were not meant to be roommates. And in college, I was not a good communicator. I was passive aggressive, and I didn't know how to communicate the things that bothered me to him. And we had a falling out, but we are now friends again.
Yeah, that happens.
And I learned from that. But that was like we've been friends for a few years sort of thing. And I recognized my fault in it. But I'm just trying to figure out, time has not healed this wound. It's been like 6 months now, and every time I feel like I'm in a better place with it, and I can move forward with more compassion and better insight.
Like I understand what he was going through.
Right. I'll hear from a friend in common stuff that he's saying, and it sets me back, and it brings all the resentment and anger back, and I don't want to feel that way. And this isn't just like a friend of a few years. This is
a lifelong friend.
This is a lifelong friend. And I've had those falling outs with friends where it's like, okay, we took our space, and now we remember the good times, and it was just kind of like we
went through our own little thing.
Right, and like it was something petty that we just
got over.
Yeah. This is not that. And so, like, I know there's a couple of comedian friends of ours who went through a breakup, and I don't know much about it, and I'm trying to understand it. I'm trying to like study other people's
like friend breakups.
Because I don't want this to be the case, but it's just like, I feel like I'm dealing with somebody who isn't doing the same kind of work.
I was going to say, unfortunately, there, like, I both understand and don't understand why people don't do work to grow and improve, but there are a lot of people who, they are where they're at. They have no interest in growing. They're stuck in their ways, and they don't want to try to grow as a person.
I saw a video the other day, and this one did resonate with me because the person in question is a self-described perfectionist. And the video was talking about people who are perfectionists can't bring themselves to admit when they make mistakes, so they don't apologize.
That's a narcissist, not a perfectionist.
I think that I think there's a Venn diagram of...
Probably. I would argue that perfectionists, I guess it depends on, there's a book called The 5 Types of Perfectionism.
Oh, really?
And there's different types of perfectionists.
I'm the opposite of a perfectionist.
I didn't know I was a perfectionist, because I didn't think you could be a perfectionist and always think you're not doing good enough. But apparently that's perfectionism. Is that like, I'm not good enough?
Maybe
is actually
maybe I am a perfectionist.
It's like, no, you have too high a standard for anyone.
I have learned a lot of giving myself grace and compassion with not needing to be great or accepting my flaws and mistakes.
Same.
I've come a long way with that, but yeah, there are certain things, I guess, that I could pursue harder or
if you want to
more proactively that I don't, because there's certain, I guess, if
it makes you more angry than it does bring you joy.
Well, I think it's opportunity cost. It comes at doing something that you don't love or don't feel feeds you, like in a way that something else does. It's like how managing your time in the best way, which I don't do, but I'm trying, and so that's how I justify not doing the things that maybe I should more, like posting on social media or having my own podcast, but I just don't. That's not what I moved out here to do.
I know.
I should have a podcast, but to have a podcast now, you have to have
a fucking studio,
a TV studio, and a staff, and I just don't. My kids aren't old enough yet to do that.
To make them my staff.
Yes. I need to have more kids. It's like instead of I'm not breeding farmhands. I'm breeding
a podcast
PAs.
studio. This person runs the camera. Here's the editor. That's so funny. Well, I mean,
Sweetie, that is not key lighting.
Yeah, but it's like, what is it worth? Like, what are you getting out of it if it's not bringing you joy? Even this, sometimes I go, I mean, I love conversations that I get to have with friends. Sometimes I'll have guests on that are specifically, I can ask them about their niche identity that's different than mine, or they have an expertise.
Sorry, I need to take
No,
my
it's
dress
okay.
off.
OnlyFans.com/Sandy Danto. But, and I do enjoy that, but like, I sometimes go, why the fuck do I have a podcast? I don't have a podcast that's doing the kind of numbers where it's like, can't let go of the podcast.
Right. But part of me is like, do you even exist if you don't have one? I did have one, but it just became something that over time I lost passion for. And I said to myself, why am I doing something? Isn't it going to come out in the product if I don't have passion for it? And then when you have friends that cancel on you last minute,
now you don't have an episode to put out.
You don't have an episode to put out, but you also have something where you're just like, look, I get it, but also what the fuck? Like, that's fucked up for you to do that to me last minute.
And I don't need another thing. None of us need another thing in this business where we're questioning. Because even if it's like shit comes up, people have to cancel, but then you go, oh, my thing wasn't important enough, or like, you don't have, you
take it personally, and it's not meant to be, but it's impossible not to.
I take everything personally. No, I don't anymore, but
I've learned how to not.
Yeah.
But there is that initial sting where where your emotion meets your reason, and the reason has to win.
That has to win. Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing and that's what I do like about this podcast specifically, is that it's solo. And I've done podcasts with friends, with other people. I've tried different things, and a lot of them have like worked and been pretty well, but I'll get unnecessarily butthurt if I'm working on anything with someone and I go, let's do this, schedule a time, let's do this, and then they go, hey, this other thing came up, so I need to move this. And I'm like, is that other thing paid work? Because why don't you care enough about this to fucking just put it in your calendar?
But nobody is going to care no matter how much they love you much as you care.
No, they never are.
And that's okay.
Yeah, and it's like acceptance. But I also think that, to bring it back around to friendship breakups, is that sometimes what hurts is our inability or our refusal to accept, like, we want the person that we're friends with to, like, want to grow and, you care about this, but you want them to be able to go, you know what, I can let it go, I don't need to hold on to resentments. I want anyone to be able to do that. And part of, I think, finding peace with friendship breakups sometimes is the acceptance of, I'm not going to get that from you. Or any type of breakup.
And every time I get close to that, it gets interrupted by some indirect communication that's through a mutual friend that's very clearly meant to get back to me. And each one of these friends, I keep asking certain questions, and I hear from them exactly what I expected to hear each time, which tells me that the other person isn't doing any of the work.
Yeah, like they don't, and that hurts because it feels like a rejection in a way that's like, you don't care enough about our friendship to want to make it better. And that's what I think is the most painful thing. But also, have you tried?
But it's also a matter of, like, you're talking about being butthurt. From my perspective, of what I've done a lot of thinking of and understanding, is the issues they've raised are being butthurt.
Yeah.
And the issues that I have are the foundations of a friendship, which are trust and it was initiated with him bringing a laundry list of things he was butthurt over the course of a long period of time
on these
that
things?
he has been sitting on, which if you're friends with that close with somebody, you don't just like
sit on
withhold that and
you certainly don't bring it up later as a list.
Right.
You know, if you
but then he chose not to do it in a constructive way, but he lectured me. When you're
it
on
was
the
like
phone,
let me tell you what's wrong with you.
He texted me and said, we need to talk and you need to just listen. And then I called him because that gave me an immediate panic attack because I didn't know there was anything wrong. And he didn't answer. And he's like, I'm about to get on a flight. It's like, you don't
Fuck you. You don't do that.
And then when he finally, hours and hours later, it finally did, he started talking. And when you're on the phone and you're talking and like maybe you've been talking without stopping for maybe a minute or two.
Yeah.
And you're just like, hello, are you still there? Just making sure. Because sometimes I've done that and I'm like, oh, the call got cut off.
Oh,
I don't know.
So many times.
I've been
blabbing to nobody.
I don't know where in that monologue it got cut off. But I just put it on mute after like a few minutes.
And he kept
going.
going.
Went on for another 10 minutes. And that fundamentally tells me that he sees me as a subordinate.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's not something you do to somebody that you love and respect as an equal person.
It's also like, this is real life. This isn't the internet. You don't just get to shout your opinion and not get feedback on it.
Right.
It's a discussion. You don't get to tell me, no.
And probably if not for you need to just listen, I probably would have interrupted and been like, all right, and defended myself. But given the fact that he was like, you need to just listen.
You listened.
I listened. I respected the boundary he put in front of me, but I probably shouldn't have. And maybe we wouldn't be in this position if I had argued with him.
If you had said something and gone like, hey, actually, here's what's up.
But all those things were, it's just like perceived slights or being butthurt about.
You're like, things you probably didn't even remember, I imagine, or like, that seems so small to you. And you're like, you've been holding on to this?
Things that unless it was brought up in the moment or shortly thereafter, were not even on the radar as something that would offend anybody.
Yeah. And this person's just, that's so unhealthy. Already, someone who's just holding on to things. Also, I just think as a general rule, you have
It's probably toxic of me that I'm talking about it.
No, but you're
right now.
Still dealing with it. But also, it's just like, I think like, if something really bothers you about a person, maybe you need space to figure out how you want to address it. You got a week tops, and if you don't do it by then, you have to let it go. That's on you. You have to go.
That's what I think. If you don't bring it up in the moment or in the immediate aftermath.
Yeah, like maybe you need to process for a couple days and go, I don't want this to be a fight, so let me like figure out.
And what I've said to him is that you need to look at the role you play in your own suffering, and I have, and I should have had better boundaries, and I maybe should have done better at like checking in. But this is someone who's very like emotionally distant, like so it's difficult. I
will say, I think it's actually like so disrespectful of what everyone. Of what life carries for all of us to expect anyone to check in on you. It's nice when they do, but to go, you should like to expect people to check in on you aside from maybe your partner, like your immediate. I think it's your own thing to work through when you're taking that as a slight, because often it's like that they don't not care about you. They're dealing with their own life.
I agree, but also 25 years and it's just like this is never anything
never
like
come
this.
Up.
And there's way worse and more gnarly things that happened in the aftermath of that broke my trust that I'm not going to get into.
Of course. But also at a certain point, like a certain level of trust breaking is like, I think there's an irreparable there's an amount of trust you can get through and repair. And then there's a certain level that you go, we're not going to come back from this. We're wasting our time. We were wasting emotional and like physical energy trying to repair a thing that is simply going to bother one of us forever. But I will say also, have you tried setting boundaries with mutual friends when they bring it up? Have you gone like, hey, I actually would prefer it if you just don't tell me.
I'm actually at that point right now. 6 months in.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes a
Because it was agreed upon, give it time and see how time...
Like, he might fizzle out. He might come around.
And
or
then,
they'll just stop. He'll stop saying things to other people.
But then the time has
or
helped
she,
me.
I don't know who it
yes,
is, but...
yes. The time has helped me. But right about at each point where I feel I'm in a better place with it, I'll hear from one of those friends who's trying to play peacemaker, and it just ends up making it worse for me to hear the things that are being said about me.
The peacemaker thing, because I had, like we said, I've been through friendship breakups, or it's like where you've taken an unforeseen whatever time apart. I understand the logic of why someone who's a mutual friend tries to get people back together. I can't imagine that it ever goes well, because anytime someone's come to me...
It's a fool's errand.
Oh yeah, well, when someone goes, hey, I know things aren't good between you and so-and-so, all I hear is, hey, so-and-so's been talking shit about you. And I realize that's a leap. Maybe that person was, like, emotionally just going, I wish it could be better. But I go, well, why do you know that? Why do you know that things aren't going well? Okay, Sandy's having a panic attack. We don't have to talk about this.
No. It's natural because it's two different people living two different versions of the same reality.
Situation, yeah.
And hearing something so contrasting to what you've experienced immediately evokes that.
Or you, like, get angry, or you get, like, I go...
It puts you on the defensive, and that's why I tried to set a boundary that we not talk to mutual friends about it.
Yeah, like, let's just not bring it, it keeps coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because there's no way to go, wow, did they express their hurting? Because I really wish things would get better. You hear that and you just go, well, that fucking... I mean, I do. I would like to be at a place where I'm more grounded and can go, could receive that information better, but I just go, oh, what are they fucking saying about me? Like, I just flare up. And then I'm getting negative about a story I'm inventing.
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyway.
Sometimes you just gotta let them go.
That's what everybody says, and I know that, but it's harder to do in practice than it is in theory.
You know, the in Buddhism, the root of suffering is like refusing to let go of things or to accept things. Like, acceptance is...
But isn't in Buddhism suffering
inevitable?
Is life?
Yes.
Suffering is nirvana. As soon as you accept suffering, then you can live a life of peace.
Yes, which sounds so stupid. But...
It's, honestly, though, this Holocaust book, it's not so far off. It's like you...
It doesn't mean just accept it and not try to change your circumstances.
Am I worthy of my suffering? And what meaning is there in my suffering? And like finding comfort in sitting with it and tolerating it.
Yes, because it's not to say, especially bring up the Holocaust, it's like, it's not to say you deserve this.
The Holocaust is trending right now.
Or like, it's so hot right now. It's not like, oh, this is just what it is, and I'm not going to do anything about it. It's like, no, you could still like do what you can to change your circumstances, but there's, what is the word they use? I'm going to fuck it up, but they basically make a word, like, I went to a Vipassana retreat, which is a 10-day silent meditation, and they talk about...
What? You didn't talk for 10 days?
Everyone says the same thing. Like, you can't not talk for 10 seconds.
I couldn't do a day.
It was the best thing I've ever done, and it was coming back from it ruined me. But, I could go into the woods and never come back.
The problem is, for me, whenever I do something like that feels very healing or restorative, it's immediately undone.
Oh, yeah, because it's always in a setting where it's like, this isn't real life, though.
Right.
I was in Joshua Tree away from, I had no phone.
Right.
I had no interaction with people who pissed me off. But basically, they tried to personify
the people who
or
were
noun.
silent didn't piss you off?
Some of them did. There was a woman behind me who kept sobbing, and I think she was...
That's not silent, lady.
I think she was a homeless person who just goes from retreat to retreat, because it is donation-based.
Oh, wow. Did not know
But
that.
I was like, could we suffer a little bit quieter, But if you
I would not be good at that then, because I would be sobbing loudly.
I mean, yeah, and then I started crying, and I was like, she was just here faster than me.
My sobbing is like when you see a person puke, it makes you throw up.
Yeah, it makes everyone else
Everyone else starts ugly crying.
Fuck, it just makes babies out of nowhere start crying around the globe. Wait, let me say this. If you could objectify or, like, personify something that is painful, like a point of suffering. So, like, your friendship is breaking up, as an example.
Mm-hmm.
If that was like a stone on a pile that's inside of you and building, going, I don't want this to happen. I don't want this to be happening. I don't want this to be happening. I hate that this is happening. That's another stone. That's what they mean by acceptance. It's like, well, not wanting it is also piling on.
Right.
So it's like, but unfortunately,
well,
it also
works
with...
This is like a jagged kidney stone on that pile.
Yeah.
That's got to come out of my urethra.
Yeah. Well, we're pulling it out. Let's get some fishing wire. But the fucked up thing is also, it works the other way. Really, really wanting something is adding to the pile. Like, you can't be like, trying to hold on to a good feeling is also suffering.
I'm not trying to hold on to a good feeling. I'm trying to let go.
Yeah.
And every time I'm very close, I get sucked back in by
humanity.
Some hearsay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's the hardest thing with any type of friendships, family breakups, when you're like, I'm done talking to them, and they come trudging around, guilt tripping. Old breakups where, like, I swear, for the year after I went through my last breakup, my ex would randomly need a piece of seemingly unimportant information. And you need to remember the last name of someone that I introduced you to on Valentine's Day that you suddenly thought, it's our anniversary, and you just was like, what was the name of that band we saw? Shut the fuck up.
The trouble with that is, there is a small chance that it is a genuine coincidence.
Because I've done it.
And we live in a world now where anything that's a coincidence or correlated somehow.
Yeah. We have to
immediately jump to, they're a narcissist, they're breadcrumbing you.
Gaslighting, toxic.
And it's the same with anything that happens in the world, like, it's a conspiracy,
everything
it's
needs a label.
That's a false flag.
Yeah,
that's
we live
a psyop.
in
and it's like, it's a couple of planes crashed. Maybe it's because everybody at the FAA got fired. Or
maybe it's just these things happen from time to time. It's also, we live in a world where
but it's hard to know what's what. It could be, but it also
could not
probably
be.
Not.
Yeah, it's like it cannot be true that life is not at all just happening.
Right.
Like, that's certainly, some of it has to just be like, shit happens.
It's a simulation, though.
Lately I do go, man, it's gotta be.
I think it's okay to just say, I don't know.
I think you're right. I think this is I think we should.
I don't think we ended on I think we started out funny a little bit, or at least
that's the podcast.
At least joking around, and then we got real sullen, and the whole thing got sucked up into an existential vacuum.
That's kind of this podcast.
Okay. It's
kind of existential vacuum would be a great name for a podcast.
Yeah.
I gotta stop coming up with podcast ideas. I am just do my own podcast. But I think that is a good place I think that's a good lesson, is like, it's okay to just say, I don't know. I think people are afraid of that. People think they have to have a stance.
People are afraid of it. It's the only thing I say.
Yeah. Where can people find you?
My house. I'm usually there until I gotta pick my daughter up from school.
Stalkers.
Sorry, that was such a dad joke. Oh, God.
But he is who he is.
Born
to be dad.
Brain dad.
These are great.
Dad on arrival. You can find all my social media is just my name, Sandy Danto, and it's not for lack of creativity. It's because it's just like I'm the only one.
No,
there is one other Sandy Danto, and she hates me because she married a rich relative of mine and wants to be known for her philanthropy. And instead, when you Google my name or you look for me,
Google her name. It's like
when you Google her name or you look for her on Instagram or any of the social media,
everyone finds you.
It's just me telling jokes about doing drugs or coming.
That's for
my eyes.
Be Sandra Danto then. Yeah. Move on.
Yeah. At least spell it with an IE.
I know.
Or 2 E's. Or an EY.
You were here first.
There's a lot. Well, she was here first, but there's a variety of workarounds. Sandy.
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 All right.
A Sandy, not a Sandy.
Sandy Danto.
Sandy.
This is my friend Sandy Danto, and this is his relative, Sandy Danto. Sandy Danto.
Don't ask about our pronouns.
They are them, and thee are thine. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Okay. Thank you for being here. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for being patient with my ignorance. See you soon, idiots.
Bye.
Well, there you have it. That concludes this week's episode of Hey Idiots. I hope you learned something. I hope you laughed a little. Maybe you didn't learn anything. Maybe you're terrified, but I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you have not already, please go leave a rating and a review. Share this episode with your friends because everyone's a little bit ignorant sometimes. You have something to say about a guest. If there was a guest, you have something to say about my nonsensical rants, if it was just me, or maybe my rants over a guest. Come over to the Facebook group. It's called Idiots. You can see it right there linked on my Facebook page, facebook.com/JMScomedy. And, yeah, that's it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being patient with my ignorance. Keep asking questions. The more we ask, the more we learn, the more we know, and the more we know, the more we can look down on others. And isn't that the point? See you soon, idiots.